There you go. G'day, Ianapolis here, your acrylic guru from Australia. Welcome to my video. Okay, before we get going, just make sure you give me the thumbs up, and if you haven't already subscribed, hit the subscription button and the little notification bell so you know when I'm putting something new up and you won't miss out. And we're going to do some kind of a African theme here, I think, and we also got a special guest, Deborah Lalonde from Phillipston in Massachusetts. She'll be popping in later on at the end of the video just to tell me when it's time to whack a frame on this beautiful piece. And there's probably only half a dozen, or not even half a dozen colours in here. I'll get a couple of sizes up there for those who want to know the size of the canvas. Centimetres and inches, there they are, magic, isn't it? And I'll get some colours running up the screen as well for you, for those who want to write them down and pause it and use the exact same colours. Now when you're doing a tutorial, mix and match it up, play with it a bit, mix it up a bit, and it doesn't have to be exactly the way that we teach you how to do it. You can use those elements and change them to your style, alright? But anyway, get on over here and let's get this canvas prepped and ready to put some colours on there in acrylic paints, alright? And just take note of the brushes I'm going to use, alright? I don't know much about brushes. I know what work for me, so just look what size I'm using. I'll tell you what I'm using as I change brushes, alright? Now I'm going to have a low horizon line on here. Probably, let's use the stick. Where do I want it? About there, I'd say, about there. So this stick I've got it squared to my board. So when I use a line, it's reasonably straight. All right, now we're going to have maybe African tree. Hopefully I can get an African tree and a bit of the sun setting with some birds fluttering off. Now we'll start. I'll start from scratch with you, okay? So I'm going to use a student white paint, a really soft body paint. Oh, he had a hard night, didn't he? Hey. Anyway, we want some of that and a bit of retarder. Not too much. Don't overdo it with the retarder. I need some more paint, so I'll get a bit more in there. See, that's a very soft body paint. So I'm going to start from scratch with you and show you everything. So I'm turning that through. I've just got a flat 2-inch synthetic brush here, something that can get my paint on the canvas without taking all day, you know. And this, I suppose, if you've watched Bob Ross videos, he's already got the magic white on there. I suppose this is the same sort of deal that I'm using here, but this is acrylic. And if I never had this on there, I'd find it very chalky and hard to get things merging and displaying the way they do. Now I'm using a canvas panel. It's canvas glued to a panel board, so it's a good quality canvas. Okay, next colour, dioxine purple and Indian yellow. So I want to get this dioxine on the brush. No retarder in this one. Okay, I'm putting quite a bit on there because I want to come up the painting. Okay, just my flat 2-inch synthetic brush. Now you can see my horizon line. I'm going to put this on. Oh, look at that, nice and dark. And I want to come up. See, my brush is sideways. I've got it on. And now I'm getting up. I'll come up like that. And I want to wear it into nothing. Wear that into nothing. Just stroke it. I'm massaging it into that white. It's allowing this dioxine to come lighter as it goes up. Now, see these bands here? I don't really want that. What I'm going to do is push them up like that, and then get back from the bottom, because I want the bottom reasonably dark, and get that up into there like that. I'm a lot more happy with that now. Now this was a pretty simple procedure to do thus far. Now that brush is nice and clean. I've damped it between a towel so it's not wet. It's still damp but not wet. Now this is Indian yellow. This is a deep yellow. It's not like your cad yellow or your acrylamide yellow. This is a deep yellow. Now I want to start at the top. And that yellow, I mean the white on the board is allowing all this to lighten up. Now see what I've done there, you idiot. Hang on, let's get a flat brush here. I've gone and hit some of this paint out here. Bother. Anyway, we'll deal with that. And I'm coming to that dioxine purple now. And I want to use this brush to blend them together. Just massaging it. I'm going to wipe the brush so as it's just wiping it with a paper towel. Picking up some more of the Indian yellow. I want to try and go over that mistake that I did here. That'll do. Okay. Now this Indian yellow is a lot wetter than that dioxine purple. And this isn't quite going into there. So now I've got to get back to the dioxine and just bring it up into there so it's a better transition. Okay, next colour off the rank is orange. I've got red gold here actually, but you can use an orange. And I want a pouncer. I've just sprayed the end of the pouncer. And I want to get this loaded up into my pouncer here because I want a round area of orange fading into that yellow just to one side. So I want to get that mainly into the yellow side because I don't want to bring too much of the dioxine into there. Now what I'm doing, I'm giving it the shape that I want with this pouncer. Okay, I've sort of come out like the shape of a football. Okay, now we'll pick up a blending brush. I've just got a 2-inch one and see the edge here. I want to get this transitioned into that yellow. And you need to wipe this now as we go. Otherwise your brush is going to keep picking up paint and it's not going to blend as easy for you as it looks like it is for me here. Okay, and I'm stamping it, I'm making it smooth. I'm thinking inside my head, I want to be good, I feel I'm good, I know I'm good. And then you'll do a good job. Have confidence in yourself. Your job is as good as you like it, okay? And if you're happy with it, it's all that matters. So there, I've got that softly orangey yellow, the colour I wanted. I'm going to come out here a little bit more with that and stamp the rest of this yellow because the yellow's too bright for all of this. Okay. And while I'm at it, I'll get down the bottom here now. I don't want to bring that into the orange anymore. I want to blend the dioxine down here now with that orange. Wipe your brush. Otherwise you'll... Now I've got a knife here, I've got a hair, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got to get that out of there. Otherwise if I sell this painting, someone will see a hair in there. Alright. Now we'll just dance all this back down. I've just finished blending all that, stamping it with the brush to get rid of stroke marks, and I want to darken this corner up here. So I've got my household sponge. I'm just making sure there's no cat hair in it. I've dampened it and I'm picking up some more of the dioxine purple. Dioxine's very strong, so be careful with it. I'm just dabbing it in some of that white that's there just to lighten it up. I'll start from the top corner and I can use this to dribble it into that yellow, because this has got to blend into that bottom half now. So we're coming across. I'm going to bring it down into the bottom now. I'll pick up some of the straight dioxine onto the sponge there. Okay, and I'll try and merge that up there into that. Now I've got that blending brush again. And I want to just stamp this into there now. So see that yellow, the Indian yellow I put on? There it is there. That's all I wanted in it. That's all I needed. Now if I feel I put too much of this over that Indian yellow, you know, this way, we can always get the Indian yellow. You can see what's happening with this darker colour. It's killing the lighter colour. So I'll show you what you can do there, okay? So everything's still wet. I've just sprayed the end of this white pouncer. This round pouncer, just so as I can use this to stamp in some more Indian yellow. So I want to put him where I want it. See, when you stamp it on, you're not scratching it through and contaminating everything. So there's my Indian yellow. I've cleaned my blending brush that I was using before. And now, make sure it's not too wet, I just want to stay in the yellow and now bring that back into that colour there so that it's not too of a dark transition. See how it brought the dark into it? Well, this is how we fix it up to get it back the way you want it. There we go. How's that looking on the monitor? That's looking all right. Now we want a bit more of the sun here. Now, looking at the size of these diameters of these pouncers here, I pretty much want this size for my sun. Okay, that one's a bit too big and that one I think is a little bit too small. And I've got some titanium white out of the tube there. And I don't know if I told you, I've sprayed that a little bit so it's damp and it's going to pick up the paint. And I want my sun, where's the ground? This ground's not going to be dead straight, it's going to be there but probably a bit higher and all that stuff. So there, got a bit of that there, I want a bit of the, so I want this about here. Not too far in but not too far out either. So you watch, I'll show you. I'll stamp it on without moving it, right? I'll pull it off. Now see, it's like, all right. But what you got to do, let's put it back on. When you do this, well, when I do it anyway, I like to stamp it on and give it a bit of a twist. Not too much of a twist. Okay. Now I'm going to pick up some more. Okay, now let's get that on there again. Give it a bit of a twist. Now everything's had a dry. I've just put some more white paint on that pouncer so as we're not going to get too much of a orangey sun here. I want it white with a bit of a yellow down the bottom. There we go. And I'm going to dry that. So I've dried that. I just want to get my spray bottle of water. Let's go over here, so just get a bit of water there. Now what have I got here? I've got Beryllium yellow, okay? I want some of this. Now that same pouncer, let's just make sure it's damp, but not too damp. Now this is me moon up there, okay? So I'm going to pick up some of this yellow now, and I just want to put it on the pouncer where I want it on my moon. So I want it pretty much down the bottom side. And fading out. So this will be a nice cheating easy way. If you haven't got any of these pouncers, do yourself a favour and go and get some, otherwise you'll have to make some out of some foam. And all I want to do is find the bottom there, which I wanted about there, and then let's just stamp that onto that white bit, okay? Manipulate it a bit, just be gentle and easy. You know, this is your painting here. That's it. All right, I've dried that bit now. Now, before we put the bottom in, I just want to put some hint of stars down here as well. So the rest of that paint, I sprayed more water on it, and I'm just picking up a toothbrush. Yeah, that's going to work. Let's go a bit. And now, control where you want your stars. Practice your stars if you've never done them before. Now, I don't want them all the way up here. If anything, I want them from about here downish. So, oh, easy does it. Because out in there, I know it's, oh, the sun's still up. How can you get stars there? This is down low. It's an artistic piece. It's not a realistic photo. That's about it, about there. Okay. Golly, I got paint everywhere. You know, look at it, still coming out everywhere. You know when you pick a tube up and sometimes you're massaging it to mix the paint in there? Well, what I did, silly Billy me, I took the lid off and then I'm moving things out the way and I didn't know the lid was off and I'm massaging it and paint's blobbing everywhere and all over my fingers and I'm like, where's all this coming from? Then I'm realising I'm massaging it with the lid off. So I've just had to spend a bit of time cleaning all that up. Lucky I've got these gloves on. Alright, so let's get back into this again, alright? It was my kitchen tea towel, but it's now my art tea towel. Okay, back down here, I've got my, what do you call it? Dioxine purple. And I've got just a little bit of black. I want to get it a bit darker. So I want to have this, if anything, darker, which it is. Okay, so I'm going to draw the line roughly where I want it, the horizon line. I want it dark. I'm just making it wiggly and, you know, out there. That'll do. Now, let's dampen that brush a bit more and colour all this in with that dark. There's no retarder in this. I only use the retarder when I'm going to blend. This part here we want colour on the canvas. We're not worried about blending. And see, while I put the black in it, it's a bit darker. Okay, I'm going to wet my brush. I've picked up a number 6 lining brush, a liner brush, just something that'll be a bit fat. Now get the water in this. You want this to flow on there with nice tight edges. You don't want them broken up. Otherwise you'll be double handling and triple handling all your brush strokes. Okay, so let's do any sort of tree. Now this is just black, so it should stand out. And I want to sort of, now I'm twisting my brush as I go. Okay, twisting it. Come off to a bit of a skinny thing like that. These trees, hang on, I'm just evening that up a bit. They're not massively big trunked ones. They're kind of like an overgrown shrub. There's one part of it, perfectly done. Now we'll get, and that corner there's a bit skinny. Okay, now we'll twist some more. If anything, try and go as skinny as you get to the top. I'm twisting, boom. doing the main trunks of all these, and then we'll go crazy and put in lots of little ones. Before I get too carried away, I just want to get something a lot more distinct here. Maybe one that's just, oh, I suppose they're all dead. But this one's got no twigs on it. Those other ones will. Twisting, twisting. Come into the middle of the picture. That one's like broken there. Twisting. What's down the side there? Can do with a bit more thickness. Just something like that. Just getting something in the middle here. And the rest is just, excuse me, getting a lot finer ones everywhere. Don't put too many in front of your moon. You don't want to kill your moon, or what is it, the sun. We just got to go crazy now and put a lot of this sort of stuff in there. Now I want to thicken up the bottom before we finish. So I've got like another type of scenery brush, something that's going to put stuff like that on there. And I want to come from the bottom. Yeah, see, they're like big black freckles coming up, oh, not too big and blobby. And then I can get some twiggy sticks coming out of this stuff as well. See, I went a bit too thick there. I'll have to try and feed that up a bit, because these are just dense. There's a hell of a lot here now. Down the bottom, rising up into that purple a bit. Try and change the brush strokes so as they're not looking like a uniform stamp pattern there. I've also pushed some up here to intensify the denseness around here. These are like the really fine, needly twigs that you find in these kind of bushes. So this is just sort of thickening it up. These aren't like leaves. These are just, if anything, give your eye the illusion that there's a lot of little pins and needle type branches poking through all this. Just making sure they're nice and wet and sharp. You don't want to try and cut corners doing something like this, and you've got to go back and fix a lot of unnecessary ugly ones, you know. So take your time as you're stroking through your painting. Get them all complete so you don't have to go back to them if you can help it. Lots of little... This is what's going to make this tree, is all these little branches, and that's why I stippled those black freckles on there to give it a bit more dense, fill in the gaps like a gap filler. I love gap fillers.
So you can see what's happening there. It's getting dense. Cross them over. They don't all have to be sideways from each other. See, this one can come over there. That one can come over there. All the way over there. Just, it'll look great once it's done. I've got this paint quite inky, so it's going to transfer as well. I think that's looking quite nice. Now, just to finish it off, using the same colour paint, probably from up here, I've got a little dagger head brush, and I want to get just a lot of birds. You know how they flourish out of a tree? Just do like type of V's with your brush. Find out what brush is going to work. Hopefully these are, yeah, they look all right to the eye. Out here I want some tiny ones, so I want some with perspective coming in with the painting, getting a bit bigger out here. I mean, as it comes closer to the tree, because if anything, these have all scurried out of the tree. Get some going off the painting as well. So out there I'm pretty much just doing one dot, coming probably a bit thicker as we get here. And some can be distinctively bigger as well, because they're obviously more closer to you as well, so it'll add that element of perspective in your painting. There's some little ones all the way out there. There's just millions of these little birds, little African birds. And then we'll get some over here. Try not to, just don't think, just do them. And you can probably use them to hide things. So you put a few little ones with the big ones, that's showing there's some further away. I mean, to look at them closely, they're nothing great, but the painting is showing that they're birds. They're just going all sorts of directions. I'm quite liking this. I like the little birds in here. They look quite good. I won't go too low down there because they're scurrying off that tree. Now when I finish putting these birds on, I'll just put an autograph on here and we'll cross over to Deborah Lalonde in Massachusetts there. See what she's up to. Okay, so we'll just put an autograph on this side here. And be sure to have a look in the links in the description below. All my tutorials are for sale. You can support me on my Patreon platform there. There's a link to my bloopers. And we'll just go and see what our lovely Deborah's up to after I sign this.
Again, my name is Deborah Lalonde. I live in Phillipston, Massachusetts in the USA. And today I'm trying to do a little bit of gardening and finish up. You can see my lovely flowers here. And I just wanted to say that I noticed that Ian just finished another lovely painting. Of course, they're always so nice. And it's time, Ian, okay? It's time. Whack a frame on it.
Alrighty, thank you for that, Deborah. That was Deborah Lalonde from Phillipston in Massachusetts there in the United States. So we'll just whack this frame on it there. There you go, that's not too shabby, hey? We've just got some kind of dark atmosphere out in Africa where the birds are flourishing out of that tree or hurtling out of that tree, whatever you call it, alright? Okay, I hope you enjoyed this nice beginner's exercise there. Be sure to watch the whole video so you know what you're going to be up against, okay? It helps you out a real lot. And if you like what I've done today, you tell your friends. But if you don't, tell everybody, okay? All the best, goodbye, good luck, and good on ya.